All right, guys. Give Providence credit. Okay, they've got a group that's really gifted offensively. Thought we did some good things tonight, just not enough. Didn't make enough plays. So need to keep getting better and moving forward here.
Chris, what do you tell Layden? 1 for 11 from the field. He missed those key free throws. Like, just as a coach, like, how do you kind of coach through that and talk to him?
Yeah, he was. He's such a. He feels it deeply. He was emotional. That's who Layden is. He cares deeply about, the team and performing well. And in that moment, we just told him, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up for that. You did a great job getting to the free throw line late. Don't beat yourself up. He's an excellent free throw shooter. He's shooting over 80%. So the stuff we can control is the things that's probably most disappointing. We needed to rebound better and do some things better. But the missed shots, the missed free throws, man, it's tough to come down on your kids for that. We just got to keep working on them.
Coach, you guys did force 18 Providence turnovers tonight. What was kind of working for you guys defensively in some of those moments?
Thought our guys were active. They played hard defensively. It just came down to a shot-making game, really, to be honest with you. And that in the rebounding in the first half, I thought we took a couple questionable ones in the second half shots, but outside of that, we got some really open looks. We got to the glass really effectively. We just didn't make enough.
Chris, it seemed like two different games offensively for you guys in the half court. Depending on the foul trouble of their bigs. What made it so difficult for you to get open looks when they had their guys on the floor?
They're a really good defender. 55 is an excellent defender. He's one of the best defensive bigs in the league. Listen, it's a really talented roster. For whatever reason, Edwards has played in our 2 games, but not in other games. So we kind of anticipated that they would have most of their full complement of guys because they did when we played them last time. But it can be a little bit tricky because it's hit and miss because he doesn't play in some games. He plays in other games due to whatever he's working through. And then when 55's on the floor, he adds a different element. He's one of the best defensive bigs in the league. And so, yeah, thought we did a good job getting Sellers out. He's a really talented kid. Did a good job getting him out late, but obviously when the big came back in, he makes a big difference for him.
You mentioned after the Creighton game that no one is immune to losing, so it's about how you respond. How do you all as a team respond to this loss tonight?
Yeah, I don't know if I said it just like that, but I think it's part of the process of being in a good league as you go through tough nights where, things don't necessarily go your way. There's some things we could have maybe done to help to give ourselves a better chance. But, again, it came down to a lot of our inability to make some open shots and just not making enough plays there late, both from the free throw line and the field.
Coach, obviously no Caleb tonight. Was it just like a game-to-game thing, or was there something that forced you guys to scratch him in the pregame?
Yeah, no, there wasn't anything wrong. Just as you get closer in the rotation, some games, are going to warrant playing a bigger rotation. Some games aren't.
Chris, how do you kind of, just as a coach, compartmentalize a game when you had your opportunities and it just was like an execution? Like, how do you kind of, because you mentioned you didn't want to come down too hard on your guys. Like, how do you kind of compartmentalize that as a coach?
Just what can we control coming from that game? Like, what could we control and do better right now? And I'm not saying free throws are out of your control, but there's nights where you're just not making open shots. So what could we control? We could have eliminated the last free throw rebound they got. I mean, that's in our control. That's something we better learn from. You can't give up a free throw rebounding in that situation. You just can't do it. Can't do it. So, those are the things we have to get better with.
And then at about the 8-minute mark in the second half, Cruz had that block and rebound, and then he took the charge. Can you just talk about his growth defensively now that he's kind of back really in the flow?
I thought he's given us a good lift defensively. Their guards are really talented offensive players. They've got several of them. So I thought he did a good job making those guys work. I thought he got a really tough call on a couple of their drives, but he did a really good job making those guys work.
Chris, again, turnovers were limited tonight. What did you see in terms of ball handling and having that pressure come at you?
Yeah, they don't turn you over a whole lot, but having said that, we turned it over. We played a lot better here, obviously, than what we did at their place. We turned it over way too much at their place, and they're not a team that turns you over a lot, but I thought our guys did a good job kind of taking care of the ball. And again, outside of maybe 4 or 5 shots in the second half, I think our shot quality was pretty good. I like some of the threes we took off of offensive rebounds. They were open looks. We just got to knock them down.
Coach, obviously RJ 4 of 8, 2 of 4 from 3, 10 points. Just what did you like from him after he'd obviously had a couple of games where it was just kind of probably frustrating for him to not see the ball go in?
Yeah, I thought it was great to see him just kind of break out of a little bit of slump, make some open looks, and his foul trouble hampered him. It limited his rhythm a little bit, but it was great to see him make some open looks.
Chris, obviously they're going through some travel issues on their end. How much does that impact anything that you guys do in terms of the communication and going back and forth with that sort of thing?
Yeah, we had some communication this morning on it, but one thing I've learned is it has zero impact on the game. Doing this as long as I've done it, it really has zero impact on the game. If they were down, 4 or 5 players, but they had basically their full complement of guys outside of 1 or 2 in terms of their main rotation. So I think in those situations, the other thing is I think if it would have been a situation, I think it might have affected them if it had been a situation where they'd have played on a Wednesday night, and now you're having travel issues, but having the whole week off. And it didn't really affect us because we told our guys, hey, listen, they're going to be ready to play. They're a good team. Expect their best. And I think our guys understood that.
Brandon, what was the message like in the locker room from Coach after this game?
It was just, the last part of the game, it was just telling us to keep our heads up. We were in position to win the game. We obviously know we got to do some things better, but keep our heads up. There's no need to have our heads down by no means. So that was the message.
And Jay, these past few weeks, Coach has kind of challenged you to be a lot more intense. What do you think has changed about your game ever since that Providence road game?
I feel like my care factor, I think it went up a level, which I didn't know was possible, but just appreciating what we in this group has been through and we worked for all summer, I think it's kind of driven me to play harder and play better.
And then I guess for either of you guys, what's the mindset going into the next game after this one?
What can we do? We can sit and let it boil over like we did earlier part of the season, or we can learn from it and, move forward and try to get wins. I don't think we just can sit on it and soak on it because we got 4 more games remaining. So it's a quick turnaround. This might sting for tonight, maybe tomorrow, but after that, we'll move on from and be ready for the next game.